Have you counted the number of points yet?
I haven't. If you get bored with hunting with one sporting arm, let's call it, and that includes bows, try something different. That's what I've been a proponent of this for years.
As you can see, we've got 3 beautiful trays of sliced venison. Welcome to A Sportsman's Life. We're so glad you tuned in to join us for another exciting real-world outdoor adventure right here on A Sportsman's Life.
Hunting this afternoon on the cotton. February the 12th, the cold front has come through. It's rained. It is wet. Folks, it is wet out here. Wearing rubber boots to get in here, but come back to the spot where I originally saw this bucket I'm looking for. He's a big 8-point with kicker points, the one I hoped Mr. Edgar would take, and they've got him on camera. He's still around. So we've got a chance, and not far from where they're dropping antlers. This afternoon I'm going to use a 44 mag, a Taurus Raging Hunter right there, if you can see. Or this way, if you will. I think maybe read the Raging Hunter right there. Shooting one of these 240 grain XTP custom ammo. I've used that on elk, on down to a lot of whitetails and hogs and those kind of things. It comes in. My shots here, farthest one is probably about 70 yards, and with the red dot sight from Trichicon SRO I have on it, I feel very comfortable. So we'll see what happens this afternoon. I'm going to hunt a little bit in the morning as well too, and then I got to go into a DSC meeting. So let's see what comes in. Kind of take the afternoon, and hopefully that old buck will show up, or maybe one that's even bigger than he is. Sitting on a field this afternoon that they planted turnips in. The interesting thing about turnips is that they become very palatable after the first frost. Visiting with David earlier, this is the 3rd year they've had him planted. Nothing has eaten them until now, but they've been eating the tops off of this, and now they're starting to eat the turnips as well. So hopefully that'll be a good food source, particularly as wet as it is. And hopefully we'll get some deer in here this afternoon, or if nothing else, maybe some hogs. We'll see what happens. But hunting over a turnip field, kind of like that.
Larry went off sort of over toward Rodney's, and I went off sort of behind the feeder pen, and I said stand earlier. I'm a little excited. I went off behind the feeder pen and was walking around, looked over there, and there them horns was. He's a good deer. We're gonna gut him and load him up, and we'll be heading that way. It's muddy back here, Daddy.
Oh.
Yep, we're gonna take a few pictures, here in the wild, and then we'll get up there and cape him out. And I'll take him to Rogers this afternoon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He looks good. He looks good. Makes me feel better. I told Larry this morning. I said, "Well, how'd you sleep?" He said, "Pretty good." And he said, "I probably slept better than you did. Every time I woke up, I was thinking about it." Oh me. Yeah. Well,
where'd you hit him at?
Right where I aimed. Yeah. What got me, I guess, is he did, I guess, just like Larry said. He must have just wheeled around, and within 10 feet, he's gone. I couldn't see him, and that's what just kept getting me is I knew I was rushing things, trying to get my gun up, trying to get him shot before he got in the feeder pen, but I felt good about the shot. But then after I shot him, I couldn't find him, and I'm like, what happened? And so, but
that's like a muzzle loader. You know, you shoot.
well, but Daddy, last night when I shot it on that rest, I lost the target for just a second, but then it's right there. But you know, if you get in that stand and you look, I can see now. When I shot him, he wheeled and took right off. In 10 yards, he's gone. I couldn't see him, and that's enough time for me not to not to have been able to see him. But we're gonna get him gutted, and we're gonna get on up there.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Yesterday afternoon, just a little bit before dark, this buck came in to where David was hunting. Took that old Mossberg Patriot 6.5 PRC, Hornady ammo. He's pointing at it right there. Guess what? This is what he found this morning. We looked a little bit last night, but it was really wet and we couldn't see any blood. Came back out this morning and guess what? We found him. Have you counted the number of points yet?
I haven't.
He's got several. There's some that are kind of hidden behind some of all that as well too.
Yep. You know, and I didn't even notice this little here. There's a bunch of little gnarly points coming off this little point there. He's got a little small one, little kicker back here.
It looks like he broke one off on that one.
Maybe right here.
Yeah, it looked like he had one right there.
Little
too.
kicker coming off the back here.
What an absolutely gorgeous deer. I ran my finger in his mouth just a little while ago, and David, I don't know how old the deer is, but I can tell you he's got a lot of age on him.
Yeah. Well, I aged a little bit last night in my sleep thinking about him.
Yeah, you picked me up this morning. I said, yes, but how'd you sleep? I said, well, I slept pretty good. And like you told your dad, says, well, I thought about everything I asked you this morning. So how many times did you review that shot in your mind last night?
Yeah. Well, I just didn't want, with my first Mossberg rifle, I wanted the hunt to go good, and it just took it a little longer to get good, but it turned out fine.
Oh, man.
I'm tickled to death with that rifle, the way it shoots. It's going to be a good one for me. I think it's going to replace my Thompson.
Well, they've kind of done that to mine too. So. But what a way to start, David, with that rifle. Oh, my God. Of course, you guys have been working hard on this property in terms of management, and it pays off. Yeah. It pays off. You've given these deer an opportunity to get some age, and when you get some age on them, this is what you can grow. Yeah. Particularly with what all y'all doing in terms of nutrition.
Well, we appreciate what you and Luke do to help us out with all that.
Well, we're going to be seeing more like this in the future.
Yeah, we're going to do this again next week.
He's got one little deal broke off right here.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, I've been watching this deer all year long, but he's been over on the hill most of the time. But he's been going back and forth, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I was sure, when you look at them through your binoculars or your scope, they always seem to look bigger. And,
oh yeah.
And when I walked up on him over there earlier, first saw him, I told Larry I sure was glad there wasn't any ground shrinkage.
I think he might have grown a little bit.
Yeah. He's a little bit better. He's about what he looked like through the
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful.
He's gonna look good on the wall.
Ooh, Lordy, is he gonna look good on the wall?
Yeah. Becker bottom.
Brought to you by Dallas Safari Club, Conservation, Education, and Hunter Advocacy. Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable. Taurus Firearms, maker of the Raging Hunter.
Hi folks, it's your old buddy Luke Clayton, and I want to talk hunting with you a little bit. I've got a lot of older friends through the years that have said, well, I've hunted with my centerfire rifle so long that it's no challenge anymore. I just put the scope on it and bang, I've got my deer, hog, elk, whatever. Yeah, well, that's okay, but if you get bored with hunting with one sporting arm, let's call it, and that includes bows, try something different. That's what I've been a proponent of this for years. I started off with a lever action 30-30. I still have a lever action iron sighted 30-30. I love to hunt with it, but it's not all I hunt with. Now, for years I went from this to a centerfire. Now, this is not the centerfire I started with. This is a Mossberg Patriot rifle that I hunt with today. I hunt with it. I still hunt with a 30-30. So, you know, I'm all about trying different things and using different type firearms. Now, here's a gearhead bow that I hunt with today. Awesome bow. But it's not all I hunt with. I stay proficient with it. I shoot it a couple times a week. But for about 15 years, that's all I hunted with is a bow. And I thought, well, I might be missing out on some stuff. Okay. Here's a center point crossbow. Is it as challenging to hunt with as a compound bow? Probably not. But it's so fun, and out to about 40 yards with a scope on it, it's lethal. I enjoy hunting with this. Now, for a long time, I was a muzzleloader shooter. I took the scope off this one. This is a TC. I think it's a bone collector. I've had it a long time. But for probably 6 or 8 years, that's all I hunted with. I thought, well, okay, I'm going to be a muzzleloader hunter. I killed a doe with this. You might have seen it on a Sportsman's Life here recently, hunting with the cotton. So I still hunt with the muzzleloader. Not all I hunt with. I tell you something that I really got interested in a few years ago is big bore air rifles. This is an Air Force Air Gun Texan. Actually, I had the opportunity to shoot one of the first 10 prototypes. This was the first big bore production air rifle in the world. And to my way of thinking, it's as good as it gets. Scoped out to 100 yards, this thing is lethal, 45 caliber. So I hunt with big bore air guns. Now, okay, so I like to hunt hogs at night. I used to use a light them up and shoot them. This is a AGM Global Vision adder, and it's what I do my night hog hunting with. You say, well, that's not an AR. No, it's not. Nothing wrong with ARs, but this is a Mossberg patrol rifle, and it's in a .223 caliber. Your serious night hog hunters that are out shooting multiple running hogs, this is not what you want. I use this to collect pork for meat. Absolutely awesome. I shoot the hogs in the neck, a little .223 caliber, pick my shots. Most of them are within 75 yards. So this is my go-to night hunting rig right here. So that's the point that I really want to get across to you. I understand that economics plays a part in hunting. Not everyone can get all the guns and the bows and stuff, but you can try something different. You might want to try, if you've never hunted with muzzleloader, they're a lot of fun to hunt with. Or maybe a big bore air gun. Give that a try. Back to the thermal, AGM Global Vision, you can get a rattler, one of their, we can call it entry level. This is an adder. This is an awesome scope. But you can get the AGM Global Vision rattler for about $1,000, and you can kill all the hogs you want to out to about 100 yards. So it doesn't have to be that costly. Folks, we'll move on with our show. I hope this might help some of you if you're getting a little bored or you just want a new challenge. Get another way to hunt. Get a bow, get a muzzleloader or a big bore air gun. Give it a try. Chances are it'll put the spark back in your hunting.
A Sportsman's Life is also brought to you by Mossberg, American built, American strong. The YO Steakhouse, Catch and Release Apparel, AGM Global Vision, your go-to for thermal hunting scopes and spotters. Pyramid Air, your one-stop shop for everything air guns.
Hello sports fans, it's Bill Carey, the old man at Striper Express, with your fishing tip this week on A Sportsman's Life. It is trophy time, January, February. we fish for big fish. My favorite, our favorite go-to bait is the 1/2 ounce Blakemore Roadrunner. Can you see those tails? That's the tails we put on them. So here you go, there's your 1/2 ounce, white and white. We've got them in all different colors. That spinner right there, we work these baits slow. If you think you're fishing too slow, you slow down. We fish structure, main lake points, humps, ditches, mouths of creeks, where water has warmed up, where bait will move in and the big fish follow. There's not many on this structure, 2 or 3 big ones. But when you hear somebody grunt, you've got a 10, 15, maybe a 20 pounder. So that's what we do. It's big fish season. Take a look at my stash. I got a few of them here. Most of them are 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce, and 1 ounce. All different colors, crazy colors. We got a green top there. We put a little fleck on them. We just do it all. But my favorite is the 1/2 ounce white and white. So there you go. There's your tip for this week with my favorite go-to bait. Go catch a fish.
If you've never tried to make venison jerky from a deer that you've taken, I highly suggest that you try that. It's absolutely fantastic. Here, I'm taking some of the hams from a recent doe I shot and going to make some venison jerky. We're cutting it into strips. Let me show you how this is done. There are a couple things you will want to do while making venison jerky. Number one, use a meat slicer like this so you can cut each piece to the same thickness. You want to cut your venison across the grain, and you want that meat to be partially frozen when you cut. It makes it cut so much easier. As you see here, all my pieces are cut about 3/8 of an inch thick, or a number 6 on the dial on my meat slicer. Cutting these the exact same thickness will make them smoke and cook much more evenly. Take a look at that. Perfect cut pieces ready to go into the smoker. But before we smoke them, we're going to actually marinate these for 24 hours in the refrigerator, and then we'll put them on the smoker. But take a good look at that piece of meat. Absolutely beautiful. They all want to look just like this. Our next step in the process is to prepare our marinade. We're going to start with curing salt. You don't need a lot of this. Just remember, a little pinch will do you. So that should be plenty right there to do all of that jerky. All right, we're going to add some water and kind of get that diluted a little bit. And then I add Worcestershire sauce and soy sauce in my marinade mix. And then we're going to put this right on top of the jerky and begin the marination process. Here we go. The soy sauce, the Worcestershire sauce, we are ready to go. Let's dump this on top of our meat here, and then we'll put our seasoning on top of that. First, we'll mix it up here just a bit. Make sure all the pieces are coated well. And then we'll add our spice. All right, we got her good and stirred up here. Take a look at this. I mean, that is what you'd call a beautiful piece of venison, sliced perfectly, ready to go. Make us some great jerky. Okay, I add some 5 salt and pepper from Private Selection Kroger, and I also use my own spice. You know, you can add jalapeno to this to make it hot. It's however you like to have your jerky. You can kind of go from there. What I do recommend is putting it in a Ziploc bag. Once you've got everything mixed, and what you're going to want to do is marinate this for 24 to 48 hours. I like 48 hours. I give her 2 days in the refrigerator and let it cure do its job. Let that marinade soak deep into the meat before you smoke your jerky. So what I'll do is put it in a plastic bag, zip it up, and then several times a day I'll probably go in and just flip that bag just to stir it up, get the marinade working deep into all of the pieces of meat before you put this on the smoker. And it's off into the refrigerator for 48 hours, and then we'll get her on the Smoke and Tex electric smoker. So what I'll do, though, is I'll come back again, probably every, 4, 6, 8 hours. We'll pull it out. We'll take that bag of meat and just kind of stir it around, get that marinade working deep inside that meat, and it just helps make sure every piece is covered. And when you smoke that, all the pieces will be perfect. All right, let's get our smoker going in 48 hours. All right, let's get the old Smoke and Tex going here. $175 degrees. That's where we want that set. And then we'll load the smoker box and we'll get that venison jerky started. Pieces of pecan wood that we're going to put in our firebox. Get that rolling. That's what will smoke our jerky. So here we go. All right. Well, to make our jerky, we've got to get it onto the smoker. So we're going to take the pieces out of this bag and we're going to load our racks with little strips of venison. And as you'll see here, we're making sure there's space between each piece of meat. You want that smoke to work its way up through all of the meat, so make sure you keep them separated. Okay, we'll fill up the other 2 racks and we'll get these into the Smoke and Tex electric smoker. As you can see, we've got 3 beautiful trays of sliced venison, 3/8 inch thick, marinated for 2 days in the refrigerator. Now onto the Smoke and Tex for about 5 hours or so. We'll come back and check it. 175 degrees. Here we go. Well, we are 5 hours into the process, and let's take a look here. Yeah, see, some of these are a little bit soft yet. Some of them are hardening up. The smaller pieces here are hardening up. Even though they were cut the same size, if they're a little bit smaller piece, sometimes they, like this one here, as you can see, it's real soft. If you bend it, you should be able to see the fibers. Yeah, see, you can almost see the fibers in that. Oh yeah, mighty tasty. Well, there you have it. Pretty simple to make. Venison jerky, folks. Give it a try. Your friends, your family, they're going to absolutely love it.
Folks, this segment was brought to us by Gearhead Archery, Smoke and Tex Electric Smokers, Snaplock Hunting Blinds, YO Ranch Headquarters, Ultramatic Feeders, and Catfish Pro. Tune in next week for some more real-world outdoor adventures right here on A Sportsman's Life.